tulle at the end. So I saw this on this page on Instagram. Their name is swing underscore sway underscore. So this is their page here. So this is the dress. So the dress looks something like this, but the one I'm making today has a short sleeve. It's not a long sleeve one. So guys, you can go ahead and follow them on Instagram. I just saw the dress and I wanted to recreate it. So for this, I'm going to be needing about, let's say, 2 yards of Akara fabric, depending on your size. 2 yards, just to be safe. You might end up using maybe 1.5, and then you need your tulle. So as you can see, their own is quite long, but for me, I'm going to be making my tulle short instead of long like their own. But I'll show you guys how to make it long if you want to. So guys, first thing we are going to do is just to draw our basic bodies, and then so this is the one for my top part, and then I've already cut out what I'm using for the bottom. So basically I measured from my shoulder to my waist, which is 17, plus extra 1 inch of seam allowance, half an inch for joining the bottom and half an inch for joining the top part. That's the length I have here. Then the width is basically my bust measurement divided by 4 plus 1. So my bust divided by 4 is 10.5 plus 1, about 11.5. So that's my seam allowance. And then the back panel here has about 1.5 extra for my zip allowance. So now we are going to just draw in our basic body. So insert my shoulder divided by 2, which is 8, and then come down here, mark 1 inch of shoulder slope, insert my armhole, which is 18, divided by 2, which is 9, connect it all the way down, and then mark this point here. So insert my bust measurement divided by 4, 10.5, which is here, and then I'm going to connect it in a curve this way, just like this. So you see I have my extra 1 inch of seam allowance, and then come down to the waist divided by 4. My waist divided by 4 is going to be 8.5 plus extra 2 inches, 1 inch of that and 1 inch of seam allowance. So I have 10.5 here. I'm going to connect this point to this here, and then I'm going to go into back to the waist and insert my dart. So the my nipple to nipple is what I'm going to use as my dart, which is 8 divided by 2 is 4. So I'm going to mark that here, and then I'm going to go up from here. From my shoulder to my chest line is about my shoulder to my chest is about 11 inches. So I'm going to stop 1 inch before that is where my dart is going to stop, somewhere here. So I'm going to mark this up, and then half an inch on both sides. So guys, if you already know how to draw your basic bodies, you can skip this part and move over. So I'm going to insert the neckline. As you can see on the picture, the neckline is high, so I'm just going to do 3 inches. If you want, you can do 3 inches by 3, but I'm going to do 3 inches by about 3.5. So I'm going to just connect it this way. So guys, now for the back neckline, I'm going to do 1 inch for the back neckline, and then connect it just like that. Connect my shoulder slope. So guys, for the front armhole, I'm just going to mark halfway through this 9 inches, which is 4.5. So guys, halfway through here, I'm going to mark half an inch here, and then connect it from the tip here in a straight line, and then from the bottom part here with a curve. So this is going to be my front armhole. The other one is my back armhole. So I'm going to go ahead, cut from here out to this point, shoulder slope, and then cut the back. Cut out the back neckline, and then I cut out for the front neckline. I brought it down a little bit more. So guys, now that I've done that, the dart, I notched it so that I can be able to transfer this dart even to the back, right? The two sides of the back, because as you can see, the back has 2 pieces here. But my dart at the back will go up to this armhole line, somewhere here. So that's where it's going to stop. So guys, now that I've separated it, the back is done. The only thing now is just to cut out this armhole in front. So guys, now the next thing I'm going to do is the skirt. So finish the top now. We're moving over to the skirt. So now remember, you have the So guys, first thing we use for the top is just the shoulder point to the waist, right? So now the next measurement we need is from the waist to where you want the body of your skirt to stop, right? The body of the main fabric, not where the tulle. This part here is the tulle. This from here to here is our tulle, right? From here to here is our skirt, which is still made of akara, and then from the shoulder to the waist is still akara. So we are going to measure from where you want this to be, what you want the measurement to be. If you want, you can just measure from the shoulder to the end of where you want your akara to stop, and then you measure your shoulder to waist, subtract it from the full length. That way you can get what the skirt will be. So I already measured mine before, and I measured about 35 inches from my shoulder to where the akara body of the dress will stop, right? And then I subtracted 17 inches from it, which is going to be my shoulder to waist from it. So I'm left with about, I think, 18 inches. So that 18 is now the length of my skirt, right? So I added 1 inch to it, half an inch for the bottom part, half an inch to join this to the top. So that's why I have 19 inches here. So guys, now the width I have here is just my hip measurement divided by 4 plus 1, just like we did for the top. So what I have here is 13 inches. And then the back, I have extra 1.5 for the zipper allowance. So guys, we are just going to draw our skirt, marking our skirt measurements here. So like we used for the top part, my waist is divided by 4 is 8.5, right? Plus extra 2 inches, 1 inch of darting and 1 inch of side seam. So mark that here, and then I'm going to come down from my waist to my hip, which is almost at 10 inches, and then I'm going to connect my measurement. Since this is already the width I need, I'm just going to mark it and connect from this point now down to that point, down to my hip. And then down at this hip part, I'm going to subtract 1 inch from here, and then I'm going to connect from this hip now down to that point. Guys, after this now you're going to add back your darts, right? So the dart we're using is for me is nipple to nipple divided by 2, which is 4 inches. I'm going to mark that here, and then I'm going to insert my dart back again, just like that. Come down here up to about 7 inches down here, half an inch on both sides, and then this is my dart. So guys, I'm going to notch it so I can be able to transfer it to the back again. So now I'm going to cut off the excess on the side. So guys, now that we finished that, we have 2 pieces for the back, and then we'll have 1 fold for the front. So we're also going to set this one aside and move over to cutting of the sleeve. So the sleeve, I want my sleeve to be about 9.5 inches length. I added about 1.5 to it, 1 inch of folding the edge and half an inch for joining it to the shoulder. And then the next thing I'm going to do, the width here is just my armhole divided by 2 plus 1 inch. So that's what I have here. I'm going to come down by 4 inches here, and then mark a straight line on that 4 inches for my cap height, right? And then the next thing I'm going to do is to connect a line from this point to this point, and then a straight line. Find halfway through that straight line. Mine is 12. Half of 12 is going to be 6, right? Mark that here, and then give it a curve below, and then give it 1 curve above. So now I have my sleeve. Measure your arm width, whatever you have. You're going to divide it by 2. So I have 7. I have 14 divided by 2, 7 plus 1 inch of sewing allowance. Mark that here, and then connect it all the way to the top here. So I'm going to go ahead, cut this part out, cut from here all the way to the top. So guys, I've cut out the top part of this sleeve now. Remove it. So now my sleeve is done. Remember, I have 2 of it here. So, and it's cut on a fold. So this is my sleeve. So let me go ahead and notch the top part so I know where the center of my sleeve is. So this is my sleeve, this is my top, this is the skirt. So guys, the first thing I'm going to do is just to couple everything together. Take my top and then pick the dart on it, open it up. This is the back panel, and then join it shoulder to shoulder, right? Shoulder to shoulder. After that, I'm going to go ahead, insert my sleeve, right? Insert my sleeve, right? And then after that, I'm going to couple the skirt part together. But when I couple this together, I'm going to just leave it that way. I'm not going to join it together until I put a band by the waist. So guys, this is what it looks like right now. So this is the front of my skirt. So guys, this is the back of my skirt. You see, there are 2 back pieces for the top, there are 2 back pieces for the skirt. So now this is the front of the skirt. So I'm just going to pick the dart of each of them, and then I'm not going to join these 2 together yet until I add the yellow part, because I'm going to add a yellow thing by the waist here. So let me do that and come back. Here I've joined the shoulder to the body of the dress, join everything, the sleeve. So guys, the next thing I did is to put the two back panels together. I've already picked my dart, but this is where my center zip at the back will be. This is my side seam. What I like to do is to reduce it by 1 inch, right? It helps my zip to relax better. So I like to go up by the end here, go up by about 1 inch and blend it into the side seam. So just curve it this way off. If you want to, you can use your ruler, so it will be better that way. So now I'm going to cut that piece off. So guys, the next thing I'm going to do is, I don't have the thing that they used to make the design. Their own looks like a sword. So if you want, once you finish joining your waist, you take that thing and put it around the waist of your clothes, or once you finish sewing everything, you can use it and attach to the waist of your clothes. That's after you've joined the skirt and everything. But since I don't have that, and I'm trying to use like a piece of Tetrex fabric that I have to replicate it, I'm going to just take this here, and then I'm going to sew it on the waist, right? But I'm going to sew it 1.5 inches up, so that when I take away half an inch to join the skirt, because see, my skirt is done already, I've sewn my skirt, right? So when I go back now and fix this, because remember we have half an inch to join the waist to this part, so when I take away that half an inch now, I will still be left with 1 inch. So when I go to join this thing now, I'm just going to fold the edge this way and then sew it up just like that. But I'm going to make sure I stick to 1.5 inches down on a straight line, so that when I take away half an inch for the waistband, I'm left with 1 inch of this on the waist. So guys, that's what I'm going to go ahead and do now. See it here, I've joined mine together, I've finished everything. This is the bottom part, I've finished it. So this is what the back looks like. I've also gone ahead and put in my zip, so you see the yellow part is still there. So guys, now the next thing is just to put in the crinoline. As this thing is now, you can just go ahead and join your crinoline to it, but I like the way they made one of the ones I saw on the page. So it has like a slant to it on one side. So I think I'm going to maybe just go up by about 2.5 inches on one side. It depends on you which side you want. So let's say I go with this side in front of me, which is going to be on my right. So I can go up 2.5 inches from here and then blend it in down towards the edge of this cloth, just like this, and then blend it in this way to the end. So guys, now I've marked it with chalk, so I'm going to go ahead and cut it off. But guys, if you don't want it that way, you can, like I said, you can go ahead and attach it straight across. So let me cut mine out. So guys, this is the crinoline I'm going to be adding to it. Guys, the way this thing is cut is normally cut this way. Like the length I think is by 60, and then the folded part is at the top. So it's like, it looks something like this, and I think this is the way they added their own, right? They added it using the full length this way. But before they add it, as you can see, the one on the thumbnail has a black, it's black in color, right? Black too is what they use. So if you don't want yours to be transparent, the same way when you go to attach these, that's before you make your gather, also cut your lining. It will also help it to puff out. Maybe cut lining that goes down to maybe from here to here, let's say 15 inches down, and then you're going to start from the top here. As you're attaching it, you're cutting the lining with it, just so that you can be able to gather it with the lining together. If you understand what I'm saying, like the length you're going to use, right? Cut the lining the same way, and then you can gather it together with the lining. That way your two, and imagine when you're working with black, it will not be transparent, and you don't have to use a lot of tulle. Maybe just measure the round opening of your clothes and do maybe two, the length to be like times 2, or not times 2, like times 2.5 times 3, round the whatever you measured. Let's say you measure yours now and it's like 40, you do times 2 times 2.5 of that, that might be around 90 inches. So 90 inches round is what you're going to use for your tulle. You're also going to cut your lining in such a way that it will help the tulle to puff out more. So like I said before, I'm not going to be making mine that way. Instead, I'm going to fold my tulle again, right? I'm going to fold it again this time. So I want it to be short this way. So now I'm going to use this length. You see, I folded mine by 4, and I don't have lining that is yellow in color. So that's why I decided if I'm going to make it short, I might as well just fold it this way and then layer it this way. At least if I puff it now, I know it will still be transparent, but it will not be as much as using just one layer of it. So now I'm going to, when I'm done, I can now split open the one of the folds, right? So guys, I'm just going to go ahead now and join this. I'm going to first gather it on a sewing machine, and then I'm going to sew it. So you know how you just sew your clothes, put it on the sewing machine this way and gather it as I'm going. So that is basically how I'm going to do it. I'm going to do that now and come back and show you guys. This is it here. I've finished the dress. I finished the bottom part too. So this is the crinoline. I didn't have enough, but if I had enough, I would have added more gather to this just to give it more puffiness. Guys, like I said, if you want more puffiness and you want it to look like it's full, try to use your lining as well as your as well as this as you're going around the dress. It will make it look full like the one on the picture, but you don't have to make your lining as long as the two. You just have to make it just enough to cover up, maybe down enough, and then use the tool to finish up the rest. So that's basically it for this dress here. This is what the back looks like here. And yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. Please like, share and subscribe. Bye.